you are thinking to buy a brand new backfilled iPad, watch this video before. Since the 2023, there isn't any single iPad which has been launched this year. It was a kind of a year where Apple was focusing a lot into that Vision Pro headset. You can say the $3,500 keyboard glasses. Anyways, it has its own way of talking, the keyboard glasses, or you can say the Vision Pro. We want to be keeping that aside, which will be adding a later on in the 2024 in the ecosystem. But the iPads which are going to be launching the next year are going to be a bit of different. It will be a iPad year. Basically, a lot of iPad ups and downs will be happening next year, which is 2024. We're gonna be talking about why you shouldn't buy iPad right now. Basically, it is time where iPad prices are a bit of getting ups and downs, and a lot of things are there which might be making a lot of sense, and sometimes it might be cheaper to get one, but there are some things which doesn't make any sense for buying the iPad right now. iPads right now, which does include the iPad, iPad Air, the iPad Mini, and the iPad Pro itself. When we're talking about what's going on, let's just start with this. Captain Diaz, you're watching Karas and Diaz. At a first glance, the iPad itself. The iPad currently is basically having a different type of world. The iPad currently is having the 9th generation and the 10th generation. The 9th generation is good. People absolutely love the 9th generation. Even though it is an outdated design, it is having a lightning port and still it is having the headphone jack, and still it's a bit of not so expensive for a lot of users. Around 30k INR, it is one of the best deals which can be gathered off, and with the car discounts and sometimes in a sale, you can get it even sometimes under the 25k INR, which is a kind of really good deal. And the A13 Bionic, which is available on the iPhone 11 series, it is a kind of having its own way of talking. The iPad OS is also well optimized with the A13 Bionic, and it makes a lot of sense. Apart from that, the iPad 10th generation is a kind of a lacking behind, since it's a really expensive and far behind in terms of a lot of things, such as when it introduced there wasn't any type C Apple Pencil, but now there is one, but still it is having its own way of talking. The type C Apple Pencil, it's a bit of expensive, and if the user already is having the lightning connected one, then it doesn't make a lot of sense. Basically, it is having some of the things which is available on the Apple's high-end second generation Apple Pencil, and available in some of the things which is available on the already existing lightning Apple Pencil. So it will be not making a lot of sense, but by the time will be passing, it will be making the sense. And that guy is since it is having a type C and a modern type of design, a lot of flashy colors, people don't really not want it to go upon. Basically, it is available at a price point where it is also available with the iPad mini. If you spend a bit of money, then you can get the iPad mini with the 64GB version, and it does make a lot of sense. A faster type C port, a bit of good looking design, elegant pocket friendly design also, and also a really faster chipset, which is the A15 Bionic, while the Apple's 10th generation iPad is having a A14 Bionic, which, to be frank, doesn't make a lot of sense on the terms of the graphs and stuff, but it does make a lot of sense when it comes to the playing games and stuff. Since both are basically available in different size of ranges, it has its own way of talking. Apart from that, the iPad 10th generation was the very first one to have actual good camera. Basically, the good camera means it was been not on the portrait sided but on the landscape sided, which makes a lot of sense. Basically, the iPad is mostly used in that scenario, and for a lot of video conference and stuff, it makes a lot of sense where you are looking at. But when it comes to a different technology, type C doesn't make a lot of sense, and this guy isn't having a headphone jack too, which was expected that the 10th generation, the iPad generations will be keeping up with, but it didn't have one. If we are talking about the iPad mini, now let's talk about the iPad mini. The iPad mini is launched with the iPhone 13 series, and it is having a A15 Bionic, which is really good and far faster with when it comes to the different availabilities about that ranges. But apart from that, it has been so 2 years. The iPhone 14 series has also been faster, the 15 series has also been faster, and every 2 years we have seen that the iPad mini does get refreshed up. Basically, I'm talking about when it comes to the iPad mini 5th generation, it was lagging behind a lot. But by the time passed up, the A15 Bionic came to do that guy when it comes to the A12, which was available on the previous 5th generation one. And also the Type C port, modern designed, really good looking pocket friendly design. But now it is expected that a display enhancement is also going to be expected for the iPad mini. A lot of things are there which making a lot of sense for the iPad mini. While it was when it introduced, the design was also only the one thing which makes a lot of sense for our users. But now the iPad mini is going to be a different yet cooler when it comes to the iPad already existing one. But there isn't a lot of things which makes a lot of sense for the current generation iPad. You can get it at a cheaper rate, which sometimes sounds good, and by the time the iPad 7 generation, iPad mini 7 generation will be announcing, it will be sounding good for the 6th generation too. But by the time the 7th generation will be coming, this guy, the iPad mini 6th generation, will be getting a bit of cheaper. So if you think a lot and if you wanted to save money and if you spend a bit of more of your time, then wait. Now let's talk about the top tier ones. I'm talking about the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. The iPad Air firstly. The iPad Air is currently having the M1 chipset, a faster Type-C port, and a 64 GB and a 256 versions. See, this each and every iPad needs to be getting rid of the 64. 128 should be a minimal option, and it should be in a range which makes a lot of sense. The 64 GB is bit of available at a cheaper rate, which makes a lot of sense for the users, but 64 GB is not enough for even 2023, or you can say even 2024. So if you are only a person who just like to watch your videos and entertain yourself with the different videos and reading articles, then it might be making a sense. But if you do a lot of work on your iPads, then it might be not a good option. While it comes to the iPad Pro, it is having different options with the 128 on the base one, but it's expensive sided. But when it comes to the iPad Air, it was launched with the iPads Pro's M1 chipset, which was like a revolutionary thing which Apple did, and we were like, really, Apple? But chipset shortage was one of the things. But now the time has been passed and people are used to getting up, and M1 is going to be finally getting upgraded, and people are thinking that the M3 will be coming on the iPad Air, which is, to be frank, a bit of more if the iPad Pro will be also getting the M3 and the iPad Air also going to be coming with the M3. It will be making a lot of sense. But when it comes to the iPad Pro, if you are thinking to spend a big amount of money, then wait for a while. The M3 is going to be expected for the next year's end. So if you can wait until then, you should wait. By the time the M4 teasers and stuff will be announcing, the M3 iPad Pro will be around the corner. So you should wait for that. But if you can't wait, the M2 iPad is really good. Basically, it is having a lot of stuff which has been re-enhanced and stuff, and those stuff will be also carrying forward with the M3 iPad, and not a lot of things are expected, but we can expect some of the things. Apart from that, the faster Type-C port is, I think, should be available on most of each and every iPad, not most of the. And I should be saying that the iPad already existing, the 10th generation, should be available at the price of the 30k INR, where the iPad 9 generation was there, and the 11th generation would be around 35k INR and stuff like that. So it makes a bit of sense when it comes, but it won't be happening since it's an Apple. That's it about the iPad. So if you are really curious and can wait for a while to get a better end one, you should wait one. Basically, the iPad OS is going to be also enhancing and stuff like that, and by the time, I don't want any features when it comes, it is available on the iPad Pro, but not on your iPad. So you should wait for a while, and by the time will be passing, you might be also getting replaced by the MacBooks. So let's see how it goes. And if you want that video, we'll be linking in the description. This was Captain Diavas. You're watching Chaos and Diavas. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Gonna be appreciating our work. Stay safe, stay connected. Peace out.